So, as requested, shout out to the people in the comment section who asked me to review YieldNode, as it just exit scam / rug pull, whatever you might call it. Either way, people lost their money and they once again holding people's money hostage. So stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's talk about YieldNodes. All right, NFT scams, whatever they had going on, this is what it is. People are pissed off on Twitter. We're gonna get to that in a minute. And this is the announcement that they gave. Dear YieldNode partners, due to the important and explanatory occasion, I think that's his name, am writing to you today due to the current crypto winter, right? Listen to this closely, and the general problematic economic situations, i.e., the war in Ukraine, high inflation, high energy prices, weaknesses of the euro. We are forced to hedge all our virtual assets with real and sustainable assets. This is to provide and manage them in a decentralized way. Therefore, with immediate effect, we will restructure YieldNode into YieldNodes Pro. There they go again. Diamond Team version 1, version 2, they just rinse and repeat. You know the drill by now if you've been watching this channel. So this is to ensure hedging by real world assets now, and to ensure that our shared values are preserved in the long term. This is insane. So the same world that you was running away from, the world of centralization, middleman and all this crap, banking system, you get away from that, you come into DeFi, find YieldNode. They tell you in a decentralized way you can get paid 3% a week, or I don't know how the system works. You let me know in the comment section below if I'm wrong. 10% a month, whatever. They let you know that you can get that, which is way better than your real world assets that you'll be investing on, because they pay you slow anyway. And then now, due to economic downturns, war, and all this other stuff that is going on, we got to go back into the real world now and hedge our funds with these real world assets that are paying you way less than whatever YieldNode was providing. How is that making sense, guys? Somehow everybody overlooked this. Go back and watch and pay attention and just read this stuff. How is that making sense? They going back to real world assets and hedging all of their investments into that, something that pays you even less, and they promise to give you the same APYs and the APR. That don't make any sense, bro. You know, a famous economist, he said way back in the 1930s that markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. How funny that quote and statement is playing into this narrative right here. I'll let that marinate. So they went ahead and make more excuses now. The repeated blocking of exchanges like Binance, Change.ly, of which are both still blocked, right? And the difficulties in lending our assets shows us that it is time to implement the DEC NAMI strategy as soon as possible and tie value of our coins to real world assets that has real world use cases and utilities, because they realize that their little Ponzi cannot go merry goes around forever. That's all it is pretty much. So they're gonna go back to real estate, real world assets, whatever. And even though it gives them less returns, they trying to legitimize themselves, an excuse and a cap that they used, because for 3 years this wasn't an issue right here. For 3 years they were paying fine. This was no issue. There was no economic pressure, high inflation, high energy prices, weaknesses, and this is all a lie. The only thing that didn't happen for the past 3 years is the war in Ukraine. And even that, you cannot use that as an excuse to hold people's funds hostages. They just be throwing anything that's out there, something that has nothing to do with them, somehow is the reason why they are shutting down the. Nah, this is all a lie, bro. Swapnex all over again. Rinse and repeat, guys. Pay attention. to the patterns. Patterns will help you recognize these things before you invest your money into any of these protocols and these platforms. And I see people on YouTube talking about, I lost 900,000, I lost $1 million. Some people said I put 500,000. It's you and your stupidity, bro. That's it. If somebody comes to you, if it's a protocol, if they are a DeFi project, if they, some company project, whatever, and they're selling you a dream, and somewhere around that dream that they're selling you, they're telling you, oh, by the way, we are invested in another scam or in another Ponzi or sketchy company that has been running a little bit longer than us. How would you trust someone like that with your money, bro? They literally telling you, hey, we're giving your money away to a third party. What killed Celsius Network, guys, is they were investing money into Terra Luna. Once Luna collapsed, Celsius had they went down under the water because of that. You're trusting companies that are giving your money to everybody else, distributing it here and there. They don't know what to do with it. Why would you trust them with it? Why would you trust a DeFi project that tells you, hey, by the way, we are invested in another DeFi project that could possibly exit scam one day? Swapnex, we rug pulled, but we're gonna tell you that, hey, we lost our funds because of COTPS, another scam that they were investing in. So basically, when you gave them your money, they were just giving it to another guy that now runs away with the money, and now they left telling you all bull crap. So pay attention to a pattern of behavior. What I noticed with YieldNodes and all of these other protocols is this right here. Especially, the likes of StableFund. Everybody's enjoying StableFund, but just be careful with StableFund. Nobody has ever seen a trading bot. No, none of that. And StableFunds and the likes of YieldNodes and all of these protocols, their main thing that I suspect they're doing is this right here. You see this? This is called spot trading. This dude just got burnt on Twitter. I was reading his tweet a couple of hours ago, and he says, my $40,000 investment has become $885, literally 40 grand. He got burnt so bad, had turned into $885. He says, my life capital has just been destroyed. Spot trading, if you look right here, spot trading 0.04 whatever equity value in BTC. This is what he got left with. If forget features, forget fiat, forget margin callings, he went straight to spot trading. And this is what I suspect that the likes of StableFund and COTP was doing, SwapNex were doing. If they tell you that they have some kind of bots in the background working for them, you should be highly, highly skeptical. If they tell you that, hey, by the way, we got some of our funds invested into that, or I've got some of my personal funds invested into another protocol that could potentially rug, that means he doesn't care about your investment. You're just giving it to him so he can give it to somebody else and make a little cut in the middle, and hopefully some of you guys would ROI, others would lose. This is why I don't trust none of these spooky NFT, spooky scam artists telling you, hey man, I'm giving you my NFT so that you can give me your real world Bitcoin or your real Ethereum. And then, my NFT would generate. It's all crap. It's all caca. It's rinse and repeat. It's a scam, bro. These are some of the biggest scammers in the space as well. You get it? So you got to be cautious with all of this crap. The biggest NFTs that were selling for thousands of dollars last year are worth less than $100 right now. Literally, if you waited just a year later in a bear market, you could pick up the same NFTs, the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and all of these other crappy NFTs that were selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars last year. Go back and look right now. Go and check for yourselves. You would see that they are worth nothing. So people are of course not happy. This lady DeFi girl says, we did not sign up for our funds to be locked for 1 year. Why don't you unlock all our funds and return it to us and let us decide if we want your crappy NFTs or not? Which is, facts. It's just BS, bro. This is what it goes back to, centralization and all the stuff that I was talking about. Somebody left a nasty comment under my comment section the other day, and he says, Nakamoto, you should not be naming yourself after Nakamoto because you always talk about centralization is good sometimes and all of that. It seems like, Nakamoto, you're not all for decentralization. No, you're wrong. I'm always for decentralization. I'm happy we have some level of decentralization in crypto, but don't get it twisted, bro. These banks that you love to hate, I'm just making a point for them as well. They have been around your whole life. You've been banking. You never woke up one day and they pull up some YieldNode crap to you. When was the last time that you go to the bank to withdraw some money and they tell you, hey, we're going to lock up your funds for 1 year? You crazy? You know how many people are going to tear that bank apart if that happened? So decentralization comes at a cost, bro. Most of these cryptos are highly centralized. They have some level of centralization. There's very few cryptocurrencies that have that are actually more decentralized than are centralized. Cardano, for example, is working towards decentralization. 72% decentralized at this point. So Bitcoin decentralized, but also the likes of F2 Pool and a lot of those miners from China highly control the nodes and the networks and the mining gigs and everything, bro. So there's some centralization in Bitcoin, even though it is decentralized. So this is what I was referring to. I'm not against decentralization. I am 100% for decentralization, but also decentralization, I just want you guys to know, it comes at a cost. It comes for crap like this to get you can get away with it. Only in DeFi that they can get away with stuff like this. Who's going to persecute them? Who's going to follow them? Who's going to try and catch these dudes? When they have the ability to lock up your funds and hit a function where they can remove the withdraw function and you're staffed, bro. Even though the returns are higher, it's also riskier. This is how stupid this thing have gotten. This guy says, why are the FMI being forced to invest into NFTs on a 1 year lockup? That's because they don't have your funds anymore. They spot traded it, they got spoofed, they got joked, or they're running out of funds to pay everybody. Where did you think your yield was coming from? Your 3% yield or 10% yield, whatever. Where did you guys think that was coming from? This was a Ponzi from a get-go. So he says scams open the withdrawals. There. This is the difference between them and your regular banks. Your regular banks don't wake up one day and say, hey, you cannot withdraw your funds. You work hard all week trying to get your groceries. Your bank tell you, hey, your funds are locked up for a week. Because we ain't got, somebody took the money or whatever. Imagine how you would feel then. Because people still don't understand this thing, and they want to talk about centralization, decentralization. You could argue that a lot of these projects are highly, highly centralized. That's not DeFi. The decentralized finance is almost a myth, but only a few people understand this, bro. So you just gotta play with it until some form of regulations come in, or maybe regulators will never come at all. We never know, bro, because I don't think they understand this. It's way too early for that stuff to happen anyway. Until then, you're gonna have the YieldNodes and the swapnex and all these other protocols juxing you. The my diamond team's gonna wake up one day and say, hey, contract balance going to zero, everybody lose their funds, we're gonna shut down the whole thing and take the rest of your money, and ain't nothing you can do about it. That's the DeFi we're living in right now. If you can stomach that, yeah, you can play the DeFi game. If you can't, then you just can't, bro. This ain't for you. Look at this. This guy says, depending how they reply, I hope we don't have to use this. But if they don't allow withdrawals tomorrow, this here is for anyone who needs it while we work things out. They have already deleted all of their names on LinkedIn. Who does that? Someone who wants to cover up their tracks. So for the past 3 years, YieldNodes been paying well. There was no inflation, even though there was inflation. We had a pandemic. The worst had happened over the last 3 years, but that was no issue until all of a sudden, economics and the economy is bad and all this other crap. Euros falling, dollar collapsing, and you've been hearing that song being sung to you, that tune, for how long now? But now that he's taking a toll on them to the point where they don't want to give you your money back. Come on, bro. It's a whole lot of bookiness. You guys are, I don't want to call you naive and gullible anymore. I'm just going to let this thing slide. This guy says you need to activate emergency withdrawals. I don't want your NFTs. I want my money back. Everybody wants their money back, of course. But hey, who's going to get their money back? They're going to give you some dumb proposals like, hey, we can give you 10% of your money back and you take a 90% cut. You lost your funds either way. And this is the dangers of the new age of decentralization that we claim to be so decentralized and so high and mighty that stuff like this can happen and people would lose their funds. And hey, watch, they're just gonna sweep it under the rug and move on to the next one. They'll be on to the next one. So you got people who are way more hip to the game than you until the day you wake up and you don't want to give up your funds away and you become the scammer. We've seen a lot of those go around, don't we? People have their own agendas and their own projects to present you. Yeah. With that being said, like up the video, share it, subscribe for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.